Hello friends, I'm in front of you today with this video which I primarily made for a small group of friends who I'm trying to guide in their musical journey. Some of them are beginners, some of them are halfway through their learning, but a lot of the questions which they had I thought would be valid for many others out there as well who wish to learn Indian classical music, and I thought it would be useful to summarize my thoughts in this video. So firstly, a couple of things about myself. I started learning Carnatic music as an adult, so when I was 23, from my guru, Sri Subramanya Swami. He himself was a disciple of the great G.N. Balasubramaniam, and he gave me many insights into music. Now, the first thing, therefore, I would say is the way many of the senior musicians have learned music in the olden days is not the same way which most of us are learning music nowadays. The Gurukulam system is very rare nowadays. If there is an opportunity for you to learn like that, definitely I would say take it, but it comes with a lot of commitment and it's not easy. The second best way to learn music is to learn from a guru face to face, what we call a guru mukham, and the guru will then teach you ways to sing and what to do and what not to do, etc. And again, that's a very beautiful way of learning. If you have got the ability and opportunity to do that, do it, please. It will help you. If you don't have the luxury to get either of those, then try and get an online musical guru. The online guru is not there just to teach you everything, because you have to do a lot of the learning yourself. You won't be able to learn the whole of Carnatic music or even part of it by just attending a musical session with a guru 1 hour a week. You have to learn a lot yourself. It has to be a lot of self-directed learning. So that's where online resources like these come into help. So you have to identify what you need to learn. You need to identify where your gaps are, and you have to learn. What I'm hoping to do with these sort of videos is to help guide you, help to give you a spark, help you to motivate and learn. So that's my main intention. I myself, I'm doing this again. People ask me, why are you doing this? So I am a professional with a busy life, etc. But spending time to produce such videos help me to focus myself, help me to learn, but it also helps to put out whatever little learning and tips I have out there, so that there will be some of you at least who will benefit from this. So yes, it would be nice to get 1 million views and 1 million subscribers, but that's not my aim for putting these videos out. It is mainly to get the message out there, and if it can help at least one of you to benefit in your musical journey, that would be a big accomplishment. So that again brings me to the point, if you do like any of these videos, if you put a thumbs up sign or if you put some comments, that will be helpful for me to understand that yes, you liked it, or you have some comments about this, some positive or negative comments. It will help me to understand and take it as a feedback. But the main aim here is to impart learning and help you to get you onto your musical journey. And again, the quality of these videos, I understand won't be the greatest as the other videos, because this is just made by speaking directly into my mobile phone. But again, my priority is to get the message out, and hopefully one day when I have more time and technical expertise to produce better videos. I will try and make better videos. Now let's go to the learning aspect of what we are trying to achieve. Okay, so we have got Carnatic music, we have got Hindustani music, the two main schools of music in India. So Carnatic music, the main difference with Indian Hindustani music, we will go through in a few seconds. And one of the biggest questions is, should I learn one, or should I learn both, or should I learn are there any advantages or disadvantages? So I'll just talk a few minutes on that. The main advantage is that if you learn the fundamentals of one, it is very easily transferable to the other one, because the fundamental concepts are all the same. The notes are the same, they are called slightly differently. The gamakas are there, they are called slightly differently. The way we use the gamakas are slightly different, but if we know that and if you understand that, that makes you a more complete musician on learning how to use the gamakas. And obviously the way we perform it is slightly different as well, the two schools of music. Now if you look at very famous musicians, there are a lot of famous Hindustani musicians who have learned Carnatic music, and a lot of famous Carnatic musicians have a very good understanding about Hindustani music. A very contemporary example is our great Hariharanji, who has a very strong backing in Carnatic music, and then obviously we don't need to say he's a ustad in Hindustani music, and his specialization is in ghazals. So that's just an example. You build your music, you build your musicianship with various techniques, and then obviously you can subspecialize in whatever genre you wish. Now if we want to learn Carnatic music, how long does it take? If you want to learn Hindustani music, how long will it take? In general, of course, as with everything, it depends on the amount of time you put in. To get started, you need to learn some basic theory. Now, what do I mean by basic theory? So you need to understand what is shruti, what are the 12 notes used in Carnatic and Hindustani music, how they are called, and a basic understanding of ragas, and these things will build up slowly. But if you have the basic understanding of the swaras and the shruti, you can get started. That's what I think. In Carnatic music, the raga which is used to start off is called Maya Malava Gaula. Now there is a very equivalent scale in Hindustani music as well, and that's called Bhairav. The notes are the same, but the way Bhairav is sung in Hindustani music is different than how Maya Malava Gaula is sung in Carnatic music. But to start off, when we learn Carnatic music, we start with Rag Maya Malava Gaula. And let's spend a few minutes just understanding that first, because that's going to be our first exercise anyway today. So in music, we have what we call like an octave. So from sa to sa, octave means 8. So we call sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. They are the 7 notes, and then you have the sa as well, which forms that's how the octave is formed. But actually there are 7 major notes, and these 7 notes are split into the 12 notes. So sa and pa are one. They don't. There's no subdivision for those 2 notes. Then ri, there are 2 ris. Ga, there are 2 gas. Ma, there are 2 madhyams. Dha or dhaivadam, there are 2, and ni or nishadam has got 2. So again, you need to learn the names of these notes: Shadjam, Rishabam, Gandharam, Madhyamam, Panchamam, Dhaivadam, Nishadam. And the equivalent names in Hindustani: so Shadaj, Rishab, Gandhar, Madhyam, Pancham, Dhaivad, Nishad. Now these 7 notes are subdivided. So I said Re has got 2 notes. In Carnatic music, the smaller Re is called Shuddha Rishabham. Okay, and the higher Re is called Chadushruti Rishabham. So these are tricky names to learn first, but you have to learn them. Ga, the smaller Ga is called Sadharana Gandharam, and the higher Ga is called Antara Gandharam. Ma, the smaller Ma is called Shuddha Madhyamam, and the higher Ma is called Pradimadhyamam. Panchamam is 1. The smaller Dha is called Shuddha Daivadam, and the higher Dha is called Chatushuddhi Daivadam. Then the Ni, the smaller Ni is called Kaishiki Nishadam, and the higher Ni is called Kakali Nishadam. So these are the 12 notes. So Sa, then the 2 forms of the Ri, Ga, Ma, Dha, Ni, and then the Pa. So that forms the 12 notes. Now, Mayamala Gaula uses Shadjam, Shuddha Rishabham, or the smaller Ri, Andara Gandharam, or the higher Ga, Shuddha Madhyamam, or the smaller Ma, Panchamam, Shuddha Daivadam, or the smaller Dha, higher Ni, called the Kakali Nishadam. So these are the 7 notes used in Mayamala Gaula. And there are reasons why Mayamala Gaula has been chosen, and we'll go into that later. And Purandaradasar, who formulated a sort of syllabus for Carnatic music, I think it's from his times onwards that Mayamala Gaula has been used. And it's very easy for, especially for students of Veena, etc., to play Mayamala Gaula. That's one of the reasons why Mayamala Gaula has been chosen, because of the way the intervals are located. In Hindustani music, these are the same 12 notes, but they're named differently. So Shadaj we mentioned as Sa. Then the smaller notes are called Komal notes. So Komal Rishabh, and then we have the Shuddha Rishabh, which is the higher Re. So remember, in Carnatic music, Shuddha Rishabham was the smaller Re, whereas in Hindustani music, all the Shuddha notes are generally the higher notes. So we have Shadaj, Komal Rishabh, Shuddha Rishabh. Then we have the Komal Gandhar, Shuddha Gandhar, the smaller Ga and the bigger Ga. Then we have the Shuddha Madhyam, which is the smaller Madhyam out of the 2, and then the higher Ma is called the Tivra Madhyam. And then we have the Pancham. Then we have the Komal Daivat, Shuddha Daivat, Komal Nishad, Shuddha Nishad. So those are the 12 notes in Hindustani music, and we generally tend to learn with the the Shuddha notes in Hindustani music. So Shadaj, Shuddha Rishabh, Shuddha Gandhar, Shuddha Madhyam, Pancham, Shuddha Daivat, Shuddha Nishad, and Shadaj. So that's the starting scale which is used for students of Hindustani music. So we'll go into that next time, or one of the earlier lessons. But for today, we will concentrate on how to sing the Arohana Avarohana of Mayamala Gaula. So Arohana means the ascending scale. So these notes are arranged in an order, and the order depends on the frequency of these notes. So Sa has got a particular frequency, Re, the smaller Re has got a particular frequency, and the frequency keeps on going up and up. So Shadaj, Shadjam, Shuddha Rishabham, Antara Gandharam, Shuddha Madhyamam, Panchamam, Shuddha Daivadam, Kakali Nishadam, Shadjam. And then you have the higher octave, and then these notes start again. So we have the Shuddha Rishabham in the higher octave, Antara Gandharam in the higher octave, Shuddha Madhyam in the higher octave, Panchamam, and goes up. And then there's even higher octaves after that. But in the human voice, we can generally sing the middle octave, we can sing some notes of the higher octave, and depending on the range, you can go up to, let's say, even Dha or Ni maximum. But if you can go up to the Panchamam of the higher octave, you have a very good range. And then in the lower octave, again, we can go Ni, Dha, Pa, Ma, Ga, Ri, Sa. So again, these are the 3 octaves where the human voice is usually able to traverse. So that's why it's called Tristhai, or we call 3. Sthai means like an octave. So 3 sthai is the range of the human voice. And again, the range differs. Now, within this range, usually in the middle octave, you will be able to fix one note as your base note, or what we call like the shruti. So what it means is that if you, for example, in the middle octave, let's say the shadaj, the note, the frequency of that note, you are able to sing that, and the sa with that. You should be able to sing sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. You should be able to sing up to the pa in the higher octave, and you should be able to sing 3 or 4 notes in the lower octave. So if you're able to sing that comfortably, then that is very likely to be your shruti. So some voices have an ability to sing using the next note. For example, the note which is separated by what we call like a semitone, or like a half note above that C, and that might be their bass note. So for example, that person's shruti is then therefore C sharp. For example, if that's the best note where he can sing as sa, and then he can go up to the higher notes in the higher octave easily and go to the lower octave. So depending on the quality and the way the vocal cords are separated, and the thickness of the vocal cords, etc., we all have got different shrutis. So generally, males tend to sing in C or C sharp or D, and of course sometimes in B as well. And females generally tend to sing at a higher pitch, and generally the female voice has got like an octave higher than have got a pitch higher, one octave which is higher than the male voice. So if generally the females tend to sing in like G or G sharp, etc. So you can find which is the best shruti for you. Now, one of the ways to find that out is by using, we have got various apps nowadays. If you have got a tampura, you can use that, but if not, you can just use the app and find out which is the note which is most suited for you. So you tend to sing in that shruti. So today I am using C sharp. The shruti in the background which you are hearing is playing from an app, and I have set it at C sharp. Okay. So I will demonstrate now just how to sing the Arohana and Avarohana of Mayamalava Gaula, which is your first lesson. Able to sing that and the techniques to do that. Now, the fundamental thing is to be able to get the swarasthanas correct. So you have to say sa in the right position. The Shuddha Rishabham has to be in the right position, and all the notes have to be in the right position. Okay, so we'll focus on that. Whenever you sing in the mornings or anytime whenever you're free, put Shruti a little bit, and listen to the Shruti, and be aware of the Shruti. Close your eyes. You have to immerse yourself into that music. It's not really good if you just hear the Shruti for 1 second and just start singing. You are very likely to fall flat. Now, so you are trying to hit that point. There's a point with that sa and that frequency. So there's if you can hit that right frequency, that will be the perfect. That's why we call perfect shruti. If you fall slightly below that, yes, we'll be singing flat. If you are singing above that frequency, we'll be singing sharp. So we want to sing in the right shruti. Now, the quality of your singing, how easily you can get into the shruti, is not is quite dependent on how much your voice has been used. For example, how much how much effort you're making to listen to the shruti properly and sing. So if you use, there are instrument tuners apps, you will notice that very often your shruti is falling flat, and I wouldn't be surprised if what I sang was just now was also slightly below the actual shruti. Now, and that's basically what sadham is. Now you are trying to sing in that perfect shruti all the time, and that's not easy. Each comes with practice. It comes with a lot of dedication and practice. And sometimes just to sing that perfect sa is the most difficult exercise in the whole of classical music. So you start practicing that sa, and even after 50 years, you might still find that that's probably one of the most difficult exercises in Carnatic music or Hindustani music, to sing in perfect pitch. That's the most difficult aspect. And that's partly the reason why we have to spend time and energy to perfect this technique. Okay, so I've just shown you just a very rudimentary, crude way of practicing, but that is a start for you to learn the first exercise in Carnatic music. So going up and down the scale. So re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, ni, dha, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. So I have sung this a bit more faster. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, ni, dha, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. Again, slightly faster. But when you sing just like that, you are relying on your own meter. You haven't put any metronome or anything. So that's where the next step comes, which is timing your singing. So that's the big subject of talam. So if you put divisions of time in your singing, that's what basically talam is. So I can sing, as you saw just now, I can sing Sarigama Panisa in various speeds, slowly, medium tempo, faster speed. But something has to decide at what pace I'm to sing, and that's basically what talam is. So one of the easiest ways to practice with talam is by putting what we call like metronome. So you can put a metronome. Re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, ni, dha, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. So you can hear those beats, and make sure your singing falls on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Yeah. And then the next step is sing 2 notes within each of these. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, ni, dha, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. So that's one way of singing it. Just the plain notes. So like just the notes. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, ni, dha, pa, ma, ga, re, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. So you can say that at each of those beat of the metronome, I'm singing this. So sari comes in the first beat, gamma comes in the next beat, and like that. So you learn how to fit notes into beats. So that's again the next step in your learning. Again, with each of these exercise, you can practice like that. So now I have this is at the rate of 60 beats per minute. You can reduce the tempo, you can increase the tempo, and practice in various tempos. Okay, so that's the in a nutshell the basics, very basics which can get help you started in this journey. So in the next video we will talk about how the first exercise is sung in perhaps the Hindustani style. For those of you who are more keen on learning the Hindustani music, first you can use that approach. And going forward, what we are planning to do is we will do some basic sessions like this about various aspects. Then we will move on to various ragas, just to give a flavor of ragas, and learn some compositions from each of that. In general, the learning in Carnatic music is that we learn a lot of varishas, Sairali varishas, Janda varishas, Dhatu varishas, Vakra Janda varishas, etc. Now we learn that, then we learn the Saptatala Alangaras. We learn basically some Alangaras in basic 7 talas, which is what we call it the Saptatalas, and we learn the Saptatala Alangaras. And usage of the metronome. Yeah, so we learn the Saptatala Alangaras, and then we learn simple compositions like Geetams. And before that, we learn Swarajadis, Jatiswarams, and then we go to Geetams, and then Varnams and Kritis. So this is the order of learning. Now, some of you might be very new, therefore the ideal thing would be to practice the Varishas, early Varishas, Janda Varishas, Dhatu Varishas, and then move on to Swarjatis, Jatiswarams, and then to Geetams, and then go to Varnams. Some of you would have had some exposure and learning in Carnatic music, so you can learn, the Varnams and Kritis, but you should always go back to the basics and brush up. There is always more to learn, always more to practice. And once we practice in one raga, it doesn't stop there. All these varishas we can practice in various ragas. In Hindustani, the learning the curve is slightly different. So again, we start learning with some basic alangars and what we call like paltas, and then we start learning compositions called bandishes, and they are learned in various ragas. And within the bandish, there's a lot of learning, and there are some inbuilt what we call like swaramalikas, which are basic notes, and then there are some tans, which are some beautiful mixture of notes to combine and then sing the composition. So it's more like a performance style learning. We start learning from the very beginning itself. So that's another advantage of learning Hindustani. And once you learn composition, so whether it's Carnatic or Hindustani, you then start making it better and how to present it in a stage. So that's when all your skills in the various improvised aspects of music, what we call like Manodharma Sangeetam, come into place. So in Carnatic music, we have got, in Manodharma Sangeetam, we have got an elaboration of the raga at the beginning, what we call raga alabana. Then we have got the composition. Then we have got a few aspects like Neraval, Swaragalpana, and various aspects like that. And likewise in Hindustani music as well, there are ways to improvise and sing. And so these are basically in a nutshell some similarities and differences, just to give you a spark, just to start off, and to hopefully will motivate you to learn more of this beautiful music. I will look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. Thank you.